Raider Nation, stand up. Raider Nation, please stand up. Even if you're sitting next to a Chief fan at Lion Stadium, stand up. Cover the Immediate Raider podcast. As Raider fans who are maybe checking out this season, sell their tickets. Sell tickets to opposing fans, which you're going to see a lot of it if they don't start winning games here in 2021. I'm here with Monster Mass Ken from Jersey.
What's up, guys? Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
All the way from Hawaii, Sean Oahu Raider. How you doing today, Sean?
Oh, wonderful. Very well, thank you.
They got the fresh Nike Polo on, and I'm Dwayne Douglas. There you go. I'm Dwayne Douglas, and I am podcasting from the great state of California. Let's just get right into it. Oh, actually, we did a question about from as far as I believe we had a question from Carlos or something like that from about talking about
Carlos.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you could pull that up, because I can't pull it up where I'm at right now. But you pull it up, we can answer that question before. I like to a lot of podcasts like to answer the questions from fans at the end. We do it at the beginning, so we can get a chance to kind of go forward.
Yeah, of course, to connect with the fans. Well, this one's a doozy. I remember. Thank you, Carlos Sanchez, who he's been writer for Raider Ramble. He covers the Jaguars too.
Yeah.
Great guy. Really helped me out when I started blogging and writing initially. But so here's the question, which is hard to ask. There's 8 games left in the season. How much would you pay Carr next season? Who would be a cap casualty next off season? And hi, Sean. But yeah. How much would you pay Carr, and who would be a cap casualty next season? Let's hear it, Dwayne.
I mean, he's already on the books for salary already, so I'm gonna pay him what he's getting next year. And I'll get into what I would probably do with Carr in a little bit later. But as far as that goes, I'm willing to ride it out, because I'm not gonna trade him for nothing, and I'm not going to. There's gonna be a little bit of a stalemate here where I don't know if I want to give him, $35 million a year, especially if they can't make the playoffs. I think that's a fair conversation. I think the one thing that I have always been about educating yourself. If you're gonna speak about something, educate yourself. So I've been able to watch a lot of film over the last 3 years, and especially this year, looking at what Derek has been doing. And I just like, even that first, I'm got through the whole all 22, but I got through that first drive, and that 3rd and 1 dump off to Jacobs, where he got stopped for a 2-yard gain. Next play was they brought in Mariota maybe for a play, maybe some zone read stuff, who knows. But somebody jumped offside, so we couldn't get that play. But at the end of the day, if he holds the ball 1 more heartbeat, Zay Jones is wide open over the middle.
Oh yeah.
The corner route ran by Brian Edwards is wide open.
Yep.
Edwards is wide open. So when we say we don't get production from our wide receivers, I'm not even listen. Every single time you're not going to be able to drive the ball down the field, but the Chiefs are not watching this tape. Even reaffirms that the Chiefs are, if they win it, they'll be an offensive champion. They're not a good defensive team, especially in that secondary, and it just bothered me. So I think that answers the question about as far as I'll write his contract out, Derek's contract out. As far as cap casualties, I mean, I don't know. Can I start getting rid of Farrell and Abram and people like that already?
Oh yeah,
you're
the GM.
I'm the GM, so let me start with that. It was they had some good picks, but they also had some bad picks, and that whole the draft of felons, alleged is by Mayock is not a good one, and all that draft class is almost gone already. So let's just kick some of those guys out. I mean, as far as that goes, I kind of like the guys who we brought in. As far as on the defensive side of the football, I think Gus Bradley did a good job as far as that goes. This weekend was the first Gus Bradley hiccup. Every game they've been in, and it's not been, if they've lost, it's not been because of the defense.
What about you, Ken?
On that note,
Yeah. Let me rephrase the question. I just want to make sure I get your answer. Carr, how much would you pay him? And then who would be a big cap casualty in the offseason?
So you guys know, like, I've stood with Carr. I stand with Carr, and I'm not like a Carr stan or anything like that. But it's a tough one because I think, Dwayne said something. He hasn't won any playoff games. Hasn't taken us to any playoff thing, and he's kind of, I don't know if he's one dimensional or what it is. I don't know if it's just bad luck or what, and it's a curse with the Raiders. I don't know what it is, but I am thoroughly convinced that Carr is just not going to be the guy. And whatever happens this offseason with coaching, I don't think they're going to keep him. And if I'm the GM, as much as I'd like to try to keep as much as these players together, I mean, the O-line is a mess. I don't think I keep Carr. I would try to go after Watson. We obviously aren't hitting on first round picks. I would sell two. I would give him two first round picks in a car for Watson. And you know what? It works out. He likes, the Texans, just like his brother, probably one of the only teams he'd probably go to willingly. And I would probably move on from Carr if he does not win a playoff game this season. But I don't know if I'm just upset in a bad mood right now or what, but that game was just, I mean, I don't know. There's so many things wrong with it, and we were in it until that Deshaun Jackson phone of whatever that was. But yeah, I think Carr. I think the experiment is over, and it's bad luck on his part because so many things just haven't worked out. But I'm done. And as far as major, I'm kind of with Dwayne as well. Like, I was a big Pharrell fan. Like, I liked him coming out of Clemson, but it just did not translate here. And I'm over that. I think just so many misses. I'm kind of, even with Josh Jacobs, like, he's a good running back, but I just don't think he's like that home run hitter.
Josh Jacobs is my Derek Carr for a lot of people. Like, I can't stand Derek. I can't stand Josh Jacobs. So yeah, so I let that be known. And part of it isn't his fault. It's part of it. It was where he can't draft himself in the first round. I don't believe in drafting any running backs in the first round. How does Saquon Barkley look right now? So we will see how that goes. Sean, I know you got something to add to those two.
I think as critical as I am of Carr, I think in my position, if I'm thinking GM brain, I'm hiring a head coach. I will advise him to make the best decision. However, I do think looking around a jumbled AFC, looking around the league, I think if I can trade him for what I think is fair value, I trade him. If not, I keep him at what he's being paid. There's no contract extension at all at the table. And I bring in finally like a serious competition. Okay, we've had Peterman, banged up Mariota. I would try to invest in a quality backup and or higher draft pick. I mean, I think that makes more sense. I mean, obviously a new coach comes in. Carr is a stable quarterback. He's going to get you the pre-snap stuff you want. He's going to, have all that moxie and retention of an offense and a system of a scheme. He can make every throw. He can't innovate, but he can make every throw. So maybe you keep him for a year until you can see which guy you can hand pick. Arizona Cardinals, right? You come in, you have a Josh Rosen, but you have a chance for a Kyler Murray. You just do it. We're not in that situation. The Raiders won't be drafting in the top 5. So that's tough.
So we can even like hop, skip, and jump over the game for a second and go right into the subject because it's free flowing right now.
Yeah.
The problem with, and I wrote a bunch of notes before we got on today, and I think the problem is I have searched the college landscape, and not only for this year but for another couple years. And you mentioned a guy like Kyler Murray. We talked about Josh Allen on this program before, like some of these young quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Herbert, like those individuals are not in the next couple of drafts.
I would disagree.
Or 2 or 3.
I would disagree because maybe I would agree with Kyler Murray's name because the type of athlete baseball heritage, caliber as a football player. I mean, he was just the next Russell Wilson, just a lot shorter.
Yeah.
But look at Joe Burrow. No one was talking about him, and he came out of a flash of a pan in one season. I mean, Herbert, I did not think. I mean, he's had some struggles too, but I mean, in year 2, I did not think that guy was gonna be what he is, thrown into the fire in an organization like the Chargers. So it's hard to say that and commit to that.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I think you're right. There isn't the headline. Everyone's
there isn't
waiting
that great.
for him.
Yeah, there isn't that like
Trevor Lawrence, 2
might
years
have,
of
Yes, yeah, so somebody might jump in and end up being, you know, be a Burrow or kind of like developing. I'll put it this way: there's nobody who has the measurements and the grades to come out and say, okay, this is the guy, opposed to a bunch of guys who are, a lot of them are even on the shorter end too. They're not even like the size of a Josh Allen or the size of Herbert. There, a lot of them are short guys. I mean, the guy who's slinging the rock right now for Fresno State, who's doing some good things. You know, they got the kid in Pittsburgh. Like, all of them are kind of on the shorter end. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that goes. But that's what I don't like about the Raiders are in a position where they have to pick a president, a GM, possibly a GM, and a coach in the same offseason. So you have to
maybe a quarterback change. So
maybe that too. So I mean, but to me, I think that I don't think I'm not giving him up for anything. I'm gonna let the season play out. They're 5-4. They had a chance to really put a stranglehold on it. All we heard off season, and I was part of that posse who said, hey, give him a good defense, and then we'll see what happens. Well, you know, even with the Chiefs loss, the only loss the Raiders should really have besides the Chiefs loss should be the Charger loss. I mean, the Bears, the defense did a good job against the Bears, and it should have won that game. The Giant game, they gave up 16 points in that game. If your defense does that, your quarterback has to be able to score enough points to win those games.
Oh yeah.
And Ken, I can't make him, like, I don't have enough. I got my book bag here. I don't have enough excuses in my book bag to keep pulling out every 5 seconds. I mean, I understand about Ruggs. I understand about Gruden, but, like, dude, you're on the field. All that stuff, all that's behind you. All I heard was that our goals are ahead of us. So let me see the goals come to fruition.
No, I agree. Like, how many years are we going to make excuses for this, that, and the other? And it sucks because some of them are valid excuses and valid reasons.
Yep.
But one thing that I don't know which one you said it, but he's not as innovative as Kyler Murray. And I think that's kind of what Raider Nation wants to see. And they want somebody that can scramble and continue a play and not just
chooses that sometimes.
Yeah, too. Sometimes. And I mean, he throws one of the most, it's a scary pass, but it's always on point, which is crazy for the most part. I mean, he rarely throws. I mean, that Kansas City game, he was on fire coming out. I think he went like 9 for 9 or something, 8 for 8 until somebody dropped it or whatever it was. But I mean, he's a very accurate quarterback. He's a great leader. He's a great teammate. He's a franchise player. But the tangibles for somebody that could just take over a game, I mean, it's so inconsistent, you know. And the thing is, like, we just don't have a marquee player, and Waller is, what happened to Waller? Like, he's just not doing anything for anybody. So I don't know, it sucks. And you know, you look at what's going to happen this offseason, because there are going to be major changes, and you're going to need a new face of the franchise, on whether that's going to be Max Crosby, who's playing lights out. I love it. But I don't see them keeping Carr. They're going to want somebody that's Hollywood and that are going to put people in those seats, because there was a lot of red in that stadium. And it shouldn't be that way.
I think Ken's leading on to, there's the entertainment aspect that's at hand here. We saw what the stadium looked like versus the Chiefs. You know, not ideal. I do think when I watch that game, I record it live on TV. I'm not watching all 22 like Dwayne, so much more credit to those people. But what I noticed when I watched the TV telecast, when I'm watching Carr, that it's not even that he's not a good thrower of the football. It's just those plays where I'm like, why can't you get 8 yards? There's nobody there. And that's where it becomes frustrating. It's not in his instincts. It's not in his DNA. It's not in his game. That's where you look at some of these quarterbacks, not all, But I watched Aaron Rodgers play the Seahawks in an ugly game this weekend. It was ugly. Russell back from injury, Aaron back from COVID. And I watched Rodgers, and he extends plays all the time. Like, he's not rushing for 100 yards, but he's like going lateral, pump faking. He's looking, he's creating. And that's one thing that's, I think, holding us back, staring down the barrel at a year 9 of Carr. But what I think we squashed this topic into the pavement so many times. But yeah, it's a good question from Carlos. I think all of us are deferring that you do not. Contract extension is out of the books. There's 8 games left. Yeah, you win 7 of these games and throw for 300 in all of them, maybe. But right now, no. Like, it's a league where you have to earn the right for that kind of money right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, like I said, I think, I mean, like, you're talking about occupying a good piece of the salary cap pie, and if you're getting, like, top 10 quarterback play, then fine. I know some would argue that, and some will argue that it's not, I've been on Twitter all day, and some people it's very polarizing. Some people want to blame, world hunger on Carr, and some people want to blame, and say that, it's so-and-so's fault, and this guy's fault. Like, I'm telling you, like, when I'm watching on film, there are times where there's nobody open. I get it. I mean, you got to eat the ball those moments, but there are times, especially on that first drive, like you're playing a bad secondary, you're playing a bad team. You might see a flash of color. They call that flash of color. When a quarterback's in the pocket and he sees another jersey flying by, but you're still you're protected. Like, you know what I mean? You have a somewhat clean pocket. Deliver the football down the field. Waller and Renfrow are only going to get more open when Zay Jones and Brian Edwards get the ball. Like, it's just common football sense. You start, if they can get 7 for 150, like in a game combined, that's going to open up everything for Renfrow, everything for Waller. And there's times where Waller is like, you just need to trust him and just throw the ball down the field. There was a play, and I am no Jimmy G fan, I'm no Niner fan or nothing like that. I'm not even a Kyle Shanahan fan. I'll go at it with people on Kyle Shanahan all day on Twitter. They drive me crazy. But they win one game and now they're going to Super Bowl. But Garoppolo was in the red zone, third down. He throws a high point ball to Kittle. Yep, he gives beautiful. Kittle a chance. And if it's an incomplete pass, kick a field goal, but you can live with that. How many times do they not even throw the ball into the end zone when they're in the red zone? That's a huge. That's a huge issue. It's a huge issue. Drives me absolutely crazy. As far as that goes,
I'm above it once. I think I'm a big proponent of, if you have 4 downs inside the 20, if the ball does not cross the goal line once with a throw, there's a failure. And I can't always point the finger at Carr or Olsen or Bisaccia or whoever. I just think the way pass interference is called, the way double move Edwards, he's a defensive holding. You could even bunch set Renfrow, your reliable pass catcher, and you can put it to tip Edwards and put in the rear right. You got Waller, and just throw him out there on the right, and read what the safety does and throw the one that's single covered. I mean, like, it just, at this point, like, you can't lose to the Giants and then watch them play the Chiefs in an ugly game the week prior, and then you host the Chiefs and not dictate the game with the type of talent you have. But
Jordan Love and the Packers 13-7. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't give up.
Right.
Yeah. And another thing is, I mean, if you're Coach Bisaccia, well, listen, I know he's in a tough spot, but the specials were horrible. Like, you cannot. I mean, you cannot. I mean, Dave Tobe just destroyed you at your own game. So that made it even worse. I mean, the fake punt was to say, you're not on our level. Get out of the stadium. Nah. Like, I mean, like, seriously, it was absolutely embarrassing. I did have on the list the debut of Deshaun Jackson. How you feel about that?
Oh, God.
I mean, to be honest with you, like, I mean, it's really crazy that and you mentioned the franchise being cursed, Ken. It kind of seems that way because a guy like Deshaun Jackson has never in all the years, I used to live on the East Coast, and I watched him with the Eagles.
Yep.
I mean, the guy is just never in a million years lost his way as far as getting to the end zone. And then, of course, he plays for the Silver and Black, and he starts running backwards.
I just saw that, and I thought that was the turning point in the game. We were only down by 4 points or something like that, or we would have been down by 4 points. I can't remember exactly.
10, it was 24, 21 for 24-14. So
yeah, so we would have been.
They're actually down by 2 scores, so it would have made if we scored a touchdown, it would have been 21-27.
Right, and then
if you run straight, it's a touchdown. Jesus.
Yeah, he had it. He had it with his speed. And one thing I was trying not to get excited about, and I like Deshaun Jackson a lot. I've always, just like you, Sean, or Dwayne, I've watched him. I've always liked Deshaun Jackson, and I just didn't get excited for it because I don't think he's going to save us. He's an older guy. He's got some wheels. He's just the way Derek plays. He's not going to make an impact. But on the other hand, the whole conversation over the week was OBJ going to have a better first game, and neither of them really had a good game. So I just think that Deshaun and Carr, they have to, obviously the trust factor has to be there. There's got to be some more design plays. We didn't see him come into the game till minutes, and it was like, what's going on here? I don't know what the game plan was. I think that this team has lost its identity.
I don't think it was horrible because when I'm looking at some plays here where they had opportunities to continue drive. So the first half they left out so much on the table, especially on that first drive. You come out, you get a 3 and out. That is like, okay, boom. For the first time in a long time, they didn't give up a touchdown on the first drive. So they actually just they had to stop, and then boom, you get the ball back, good field position. You go down the field, and it just it was just missed opportunities.
It's a curse.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's just no grasp on the entire process of what's going on. You're in the middle of losing Ruggs and Arnett, and the coaching fiasco, the media struggles, and it's just like now you need to center your focus and win games. And there just isn't that touch. Bisaccia has never been a head coach. Special teams guru gets whooped on that end of the ball. In a huge game, a nationally broadcast game, Sunday Night Football, it's hard to know what they're grasping onto at this point. Like, what does this team become? Josh Jacobs, like you said, Dwayne, he's struggling. But he's getting like 9 carries a game. So it's not even like you're letting him evolve, even if he was able to be productive. There's just no consistency in what's going to happen. And it's just frustrating. I mean, the defense bringing what is a high pressure defensive pass rush couldn't shore up everything. I mean, Andy Reid looked silly a lot of this year. So did Mahomes. They come and play the Raiders in Las Vegas.
That's why it hurts so bad.
Suddenly, Mahomes is throwing short rhythm, easy throws. He's not doing his throwing it off his hip, falling off his left foot.
Play action, they're running the football.
He's like, oh, Kelsey, you gonna give me that? Boom, you gonna give me that? And just coming back from Carlos's question, like, talk about money in the offseason. Littleton, Kwiatkowski. I mean, I know we're restructuring them to open up money in the future. Like, all these guys, I don't know, man. It's pretty frustrating. But all that said and done, you have a Bengals team coming in with an offensive rookie of the year candidate in Jamar Chase, who can play like Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill killed us. So that's what I'm looking forward to. For me, putting closure on that disastrous Chiefs blowout, man.
This is going to be. I mean, I'll be at Allegiant Stadium so for that one. So it should be fun times. I'm sure who they or whoever the Bengals are will be there, and because if you live in Cincinnati, you don't need a reason to go to Vegas. I mean, you just live in Cincinnati, so that's the reason to go to Vegas at all. As far as that goes, I think the one thing I would say that I'm really impressed with is I could have never imagined that Max Crosby, when he and Yannick were talking about being this formidable pass rush, that he would be this good. And he has really been really been phenomenal. I mean, I wish obviously I wish the officials would just
Throw a flag.
To throw him a bone. I mean, it's really
I don't know why. Yeah.
next level embarrassing as far as that goes. I mean, it's almost like, I mean, I'd have to go to court. I can't watch. I mean, the 3rd-and-1 they had where the tackle just goal line he just tackles them. I mean, you can't even make it up. I mean,
reminds me of a player we thought we'd never replace. I mean, Khalil. You could watch him, right?
Yeah,
Khalil Mack.
He got a lot of holding call. Yeah, when he was a Raider, he got held a lot. Never got called. They never got called.
It's outrageous. It really is because. And the cool thing about Max is he still doesn't give up, man. He's just all about it, and
the relentlessness in his pass rush is his motor is absolutely unbelievable.
Can we just talk about one thing with Max, like, and Brian Baldinger? Thank you so much for calling him the Condor, and he's got a tattoo on his neck now. And the cool thing about the Raiders is we always had these really great monikers for all these different players, but it just suits him. And he's a condor, he's a hunter, he's a predator, and he's out there eating quarterbacks alive, or at least trying to. But it's a bright spot in this season. And I think if you go back to one thing, I just want to make a point on. The consistency has been all over the place, but the 2 players that have been 3, I would say, is Max Crosby, Hunter Renfrow, and our punter with the punt. Cole? They've been all consistent. Yeah, Sean's brother out there causing the strip. Hit the hit stick with the fumble. You know,
he has been. That is weird. He has been very good. You know.
Yeah. So
even in the game, to Coach Bisacci had a punt blocked, but the strength of Cole's leg, it was like a 60-yard field goal, a 60-yard punt anyway. As far as that goes, it got that roll too. So
there is problems emerging with the middle tier guys because the few names we just brought up, they all need to get paid. AJ Cole, you want to keep him. You want to keep Crosby. You want to keep Renfro. You want to keep, like, you know what I'm saying?
How
like
far away?
One more year.
One more year, and they got one more year before we have to pay those guys, right? So So, I mean, you got to think about.
You have to, but there's people who put. There was a year we didn't have to pay Khalil Mack, and he wanted himself out. I'm not gonna say a punter or Max Crosby is gonna do that, but I'm just saying, like, there are people who will look at their agent. Their agent will tell them, "I can get you out of there."
I don't see Jacob staying. I don't see Jacob. Not that it matters, but I don't think Jacob's going to stick around.
And he has his cryptic social media, just like Trent Brown. I mean, what if Josh Jacobs left tomorrow? I wouldn't even care.
I like him.
We talk about, but I mean, and you guys talk about Jacobs a lot too. And I just like on that first down, on that first drive, even though it was obviously a bad read by Carr, and he dumped it down too quickly to Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
In my opinion, if it's 3rd down, I need to see Kenyon Drake in the game.
Me too.
He is a better pass catcher. He has more bursts. He had better strides. He has open field ability. I can guarantee you he would have found a way to get that first down on that play. I'm really kind of tired of the Josh Jacobs giving that the Walter Payton treatment. He's just not that every. He's not. I mean, he wasn't every down. He wasn't every. This is not. I don't want to bash Josh Jacobs too like crazy, but because people know I don't like him. But I have reasons, and I can't talk about the air. I'll talk about the air. But he was a part-time back in Alabama.
Yep.
I mean, so why not make him a part-time back here? Like, mix that power and speed together. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how hurt Jalen Richard is, but I'm not sure why he gets any carries. Like, he gets any burn. Like, I mean, what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not like why? Like, I mean, because are you going by like how much salary they make? He has to get. No, it's time to move on from people like Josh, from people like Jalen Richard. He should just. I mean, he's not Jacobs, and he's definitely not Kenyon Drake in the open field. So like, I just being stupid. Gold, the Golden Child is out for a long time now. He's gonna be out for it. So like, when you get that injury now, it's a whole year. It's not like, you know what I mean. So it's gonna be tough to see him back. Please stop. Please, whether it's any of these guys who cover the Raiders, please stop giving us any reports on Richie Incognito. We know he's never playing again.
He's done. Yeah.
Like, please stop. Please stop. Please stop.
No.
Please stop. Please stop. And again, on the night, is it crazy how the Raiders on the night where we honored
24.
I mean, let's just be. I mean, he just can't cover individual human beings in the open field. I mean, when you get mossed by a backup running back, I mean, you just can't. I mean, like I mean, it's like every week, just throw it up in the air. That ball should have easily been intercepted. Like it really was. It was. He threw a lollipop in the air,
Yeah,
and it's all you got. I mean, like all you have to do is just like. I mean, like
make a play, man.
Make a play. Knock it down. I believe it was third down too. Like just knock the ball down.
I
Like
saw a
it's
stat.
crazy.
I saw a stat. Mahomes went Adam 9 times. It was 9 for 9 with 2 touchdowns. That's horrible.
It's hard because you look at a guy like Gillespie.
Gillespie's
hurt. He's hurt.
And you look at someone like that with the athletic range he has, and you're like, kind of wish he had a full camp, full off season, because I don't know. It just
if Gillespie was healthy, would Abram be playing? That's a good question.
They brought him in. They brought him in to put the pressure on.
Do that.
Him.
So it's just hard. And Divine Diablo, who's a hybrid. And a lot of these guys, it's like it's hard because if a new staff is really going to have to come in, they're going to be like, well, what do I have behind these failures that are starters? So that gets frustrating. I just wish we had something to take a peek to pull him, change his pitch snap. You know, that you're coming off the field this many times a game. I'm going to throw in somebody else, but we don't.
There were some really cheap. Hooker and Harris went to both of those guys went to. Yeah. One went to the Eagles. One went to. They're solid backups. I mean, they could have been. Yeah. I mean, like you're trying to play too high safety with Darrell Levitt, with Dallin Levitt and Abrams. I mean, like and like the last touchdown he threw. I mean, like he's gonna bite. All you gotta do is just like a man once said. Abram is like a cat with a laser pointer. That's what he is. I mean, it is what it is. That was one of the greatest lines I ever heard in my life to describe a safety who can't cover and bites on every single fake. So I mean, it is what it is. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Even with all that, they're just a winning streak away from being in that top 7. I think the one thing that really screwed them up this season. I mean, this last week was the tie by the Steelers. Now it kind of now it kind of negates the head-to-head they have with the Steelers because the tie kind of puts them ahead if they have the same amount of wins as far as that goes. Let's see here. Interesting that Denzel Perryman got the largest fine since 2019 for that play. I mean, if that's the league has to be. I mean, I don't know, man. That's tough. I mean, he's been playing pretty good football. Being a solid run stopper, but that when we watch that play over and over and over again, I don't know how you can sit there and say that was a huge finable play.
I don't know what the hell is going on, but there's a lot of fishy stuff going on, and I wish we could start like a GoFundMe to hire one of the best private investigators to go and investigate this shit because I just don't get it, and you can't make this shit up. And they're nonstop,
crazy, nonstop. Bengals coming to town. They are. I think both these are trying to.
They're both the same record. Are they on a 3-game losing streak too? I think, or something like that.
So I think they both are trying to avoid. I think they both lost 2. The Raiders lost 2 in a row, right?
2 in a row.
Yeah. So they're both trying to avoid 2-game losing streaks. They have some good safety play. They have kind of fallen apart a little bit last couple of weeks. But we know the talent is there. What are your thoughts about facing the Bengals here and Chase coming down with what the Raiders have?
I'm gonna grab this one first, Sean. First, I want them to win for you, Dwayne. I mean, you got to.
I don't want to go 0
for
2. I don't want to go 0 for 2. You know what I'm saying? But 2 games this year.
It's in our stadium. It's in our stadium. I got to see him win against Miami. It was an amazing game. So for that experience alone, I hope they win. One thing I'll say though, to my fantasy football friends, start Jamar Chase, man. That guy's going off, man. You got to start him this week. He's a must start. Not that you wouldn't anyway. But I think the Raiders win. I think that, you know what? I think this game is going to dictate what happens the rest of the season. I don't think they're going to be able to recover. I do remember that interesting fact that the last time I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl, but they did lose 3 straight after going, what was it, 5-2 or something like that. And the 2002. So maybe that has
They
something
won.
to do with it.
They went 4-0. The Raiders have never been 5-0 in their history, and they lost 4 straight. And then they won.
Right.
That was the game where Rod Woodson had the pick off and ran it back for like 80 yards against
Steelers.
Greasy against
Yeah.
the Broncos.
Oh, Broncos.
Remember that one?
Yeah. So I hope that they win. I think they will. I think that another week with Deshaun Jackson, get them going. They go back and they look at what's going on with this.
Throw the
I
ball
think
down the field, maybe.
Yeah. I think it's a win. Sean, what do you think, Sean?
If you're gonna throw the ball to Deshaun Jackson, I think down the field you do it early. I didn't like how they waited till you're down 10.
Yeah,
you're in a.
That's a Carr specialty right there.
I mean, that was a great catch by Deshaun. Carr really. I mean, it could have been an interception very easily. It was not the best throw, and Carr to his left had a easy, check down that could have fielded something after the catch. But I mean, yeah, pull the trigger, but do that early. My concern with the Bengals is, as we're all talking about, it's not just Jamar Chase. It's Tyler Boyd is a very credible player in this league too. So they have a couple. They have a big guy and then have a short, fast
Higgins.
guy. And there you go.
Higgins.
So like there's layers. Although Faison and Hayward and Ron Miles and Gus have done the best they can with this talent. Joey's gonna have some favorable throws to make. So let's hope Max and Yannick and Jefferson and Solomon Thomas and all the guys we bring at the quarterback can the pressures are fun, but Burrow's an athletic guy. So kind of need to get the quarterback down, kind of need to tip balls, kind of need to hit him. I know Gus isn't a big blitzer. He blitzed a little bit. But maybe this is a week where you put in some different packages. You just kind of have to create. We'll see. I think the Bengals are a team that are very comparable to us. They're a down organization.
Yeah.
They're moving on with a younger guy. We got a veteran guy. We don't know what's going on with the organization, the head coach. They're kind of like sitting fat. They're in a tough division, a division that has winners like the Steelers and the Ravens. I mean, that's hard. Like you're the Bengals. You could have a good offseason and you won't even sniff the playoffs. So I think, the home field advantage thing, I don't know. Hopefully not a lot of people from Ohio go to Las Vegas, but I think they will. But overall, I think, like Ken said, I mean, there's 8 games left. This is an AFC opponent. Beating an AFC team helps you with tiebreakers and everything. Yep. You've beaten the Dolphins, you've beaten the Ravens, you've beaten some other
Steelers.
I'm sorry, it's a week-to-week league, but this is, I hate to use this word, or this phrase, but it's a must win.
It's a must win.
You look at it. I hate to look ahead. Cowboys, a Washington football team that has a defense. There's just like a lot ahead that take care of business.
I would say that the guy who really kind of scares me in this game would be Mixon. Mixon is a. They use him a lot. They use him in the running game. Use him in the passing game. That's gonna be a tough spot when you play this cover 3. You allow the dump downs, and when you dump it down to him, I mean, he could make you miss and take it as far as it goes to the house, stuff like that. So they have been an interesting team this year. They've been really good, and they've been up and down as far as they've been the Raiders. They've been up and down. Yep. So they walk into Allegiant as a one point favorite as far as that goes. So basically, Vegas sees the game as 100% even as far as that goes. I don't know where I stand on whole winner and lose. I don't know. I have no feel for this game. I think I'm gonna have to wait till Twitter later on in the week and give a prediction. Because you're not winning a Thanksgiving. I mean, they can show up. I can't think of a scenario, even if Dak doesn't play, where they win the game against the Cowboys. And that there's a wide receiver
who's going to want to eat,
who cannot wait, and the only thing that he wishes is that he wishes Gruden was there.
I think there's 2 of them, but
technically, yeah.
Cooper, and then Lamb.
Lamb who got passed up. Well, he probably didn't want to come to Raiders anyway. But
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 you
still,
got passed up.
you got still passed up. So you're gonna see. It's funny because you go look at. I think it was a couple. A couple years ago, Ryan Holmes, who does the
Yep,
Put on Raiders podcast with me, had he posted his old tweet from a couple years ago when the Raiders had two. I think when the Raiders had 2 first round picks. I think he had the Raiders picking T.J. Hawkinson and then
Yeah.
Debo Samuel.
Oh boy.
And I was like, dude, I mean, you know what? You could be I don't know if you could be the GM, but you should be the first round GM because that was better than we had what the Raiders actually picked as far as that year goes. So
hire him
as far as that goes. Yeah.
So
seriously.
Mark Davis, get his contact. Drop it at the bottom of the podcast.
Seriously, it's ridiculous. But anything else about? I mean, listen, the game was horrible. It was the weirdest blowout because there were plays to be had.
Yeah, they were in it.
Drove me crazy. The first play of the second half, you see Carr scramble for 10 yards. I'm like, oh yeah, you know how to do that. Okay, great. Thanks for waiting to the third quarter to do that. As far as that goes, they're throwing bombs all over the place, and then all of a sudden, when the game's over. So, that's as far as it goes. I had a chance to really kind of not bury the Chiefs, but show the Chiefs that it's going to be hard to win the division.
Yep.
They didn't do that. So now we're probably looking for a wild card as far as that goes. Your thoughts about no, actually we can just wrap it. As far as that, do you have anything else you want to bring up about the team or the season or the Bengal game?
I think just to move on to look ahead a little bit. I don't know if we're going to record next week with it being a short week and all.
Thanksgiving.
But
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yep.
I feel I hope they beat the Bengals. And I put 100 on the Raiders against the Cowboys. I got a Cowboy fan in my office. I wasn't gonna let him talk trash on me. But you know what?
The point spread on that one?
No, just straight up win. And I just, you know what? What do I got to lose? And it's gonna be a tough Thanksgiving. I have a bad feeling about it. But yeah, you know what? The division is still tight. Everybody's kind of just right there leaning her on, so it's still up for grabs, and it's we'll see what happens. I think the Chargers do have a favorable schedule, unfortunately, and they may make some moves here and come out on top. I'm not entirely convinced with Kansas City. Unfortunately, we did give them an ego boost by letting them whip our ass. The Raiders have a lot to do. Broncos, I don't think they're going to do much, to tell you the truth. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting week.
Yeah. Shout out to Ken, who last week featured as Steven Seagal, and this week is Mel Gibson. No, I think it's tough. I think you look at our division, the hope is there. There's zero. Like I know what kind of I've seen this so many times from this team, but there is credible ability to, if you win 5 of your last 8, you throw yourself in the mix. So you chalk off some of these games, but that's going to come from Bisaccia and Bradley and whoever's in the operative power, and Carr, and that there's some things. We didn't have a pass rush, we have it. There's something to throw together to where you can say this could be something. I think that makes this matchup intense, because you come out and beat the Bengals and you're a 6-win team and you're necking with the rest of the division and the conference.
Yeah.
I mean,
The conference, you can say
who's running away with the AFC? I mean, the Tennessee Titans. I get where they're at, but after that, it falls apart. So this year is kind of a, you can sneak in and get hot. So we'll see.
Yes, we'll see. I mean, it all starts on Sunday, because I mean they gotta handle business against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are coming off a bye, and I mean they're basically the Raiders. I mean they're not great off a bye. They are up and down teams, so we have to see what happens there. And that offensive line is in flux. They have a pass rush. We have a pass rush. They have so we'll have to see what happens. Maybe since we couldn't beat Fields and couldn't beat Daniel Jones, maybe we'll find a way to beat Joe Burrow. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, Cover 3 Raider podcast.
Don't burn your jerseys. Don't burn your. Donate those things. Do not
Yes.
burn your
I
jerseys.
love those.
Don't
It's
be
actually
that guy.
They make
It's
me
not
laugh.
good for the
Don't be those
environment to burn clothing.
Yeah.
So please give it to some. Please. I'm in California now, so I'm all about the environment. So see how that goes. All right, guys.
Peace out, guys.
See you next time.
Keep it real.